Alright lads, so Bleach Soul Resonance is the newest Bleach game out right now globally, and as fun as the game has been, as great as the game is in my opinion, there is one big flaw, and that is the fact that it's currently not available on a PC. Yes, it is a mobile game, but there are plenty of other mobile games that are playable on console and also PC, and I'm really hoping going forward into the future the devs can consider that and do eventually release a PC port and maybe even eventually console. I mean, using Brace as an example, that game is available on like every platform ever. It's even on Xbox. It's kind of crazy. But as I have been playing this game over the last couple of days, I've been getting asked a lot of questions. How am I playing this game on PC? Well, right now there are two ways to play it. My personal recommendation is through an Android emulator. More on that in a second. So one way right now to play Bleach Soul Resonance on PC is to play it through the Google Play games. As far as I have been told, it does run quite smooth. Unfortunately though, from my very brief testing, I can't seem to get controller support working. So I think if you're trying to play this through a controller, I don't think it's as ideal as you would like it to be. However, I believe it does work if you intend to use mouse and keyboards. This is technically a decent way to play on PC. It's very smooth. And this in particular is for the global version, by the way. But if you do plan to play it on Google Play games, you can use a mouse and keyboard. There is an option here where you can manually set the controls for yourself. Requires a bit of effort to get working, but again, right now I've only been able to get this working using mouse and keyboard, not so much controller. So my personal and main recommendation is to currently play it on an emulator. You can choose any emulator you want to. Personally, I've been going with LD Player. Not only is that the emulator that I've been using for years for other non-Bleach games, but also this is the emulator that is supported by the developers. They also recommend you use LD Player. And if you do want to use LD Player, I do have a link in the pinned comment below that will let you download LD Player while also supporting the channel. You don't need to use my link. You don't need to use LD Player. Use whatever you are comfortable with, but this is personally my recommendation. But once you do download LD Player or any other potential emulator, it's just like setting up a new phone, log into Google Play with your email, and you'll be able to download Bleach Soul Resonance from there. Now, keep in mind, if you are someone that is in Southeast Asia and is able to get access to the Southeast Asia version of the website, they do have an exclusive emulator, which you can download again strictly from that website. If you do download it, it does come with an official launcher, but it's basically launching the game through LD Player, an exclusive LD Player designed for Bleach Soul Resonance. It's basically the same thing if you are on the global version, it's just an emulator that looks like Bleach. The only difference is that it instantly installs the game, and every time you open the app like we are doing now, it instantly opens up Bleach Soul Resonance. And it also doesn't require a Gmail to log into Google Play, you can just instantly play it like that. But that's only something you can do on the Southeast Asia version. But I guess if you do have this version of the emulator, again, it's still LD Player. You can play both the global and also C version, switch between them pretty quickly, while also, I guess, having a cool Bleach background. That's like the only benefit, really. So I thought I might as well edit this in because I only just thought about it right now while editing the video. But one benefit of getting the emulator from their website, again, you do need a VPN to access the website in the first place. But because the emulator you are downloading instantly opens up the app and downloads the app, this basically skips the need of having a VPN or even a Google account that's based in Southeast Asia. So what I will do, if you do want to play the Southeast Asia version of Bleach Soul Resonance, in the pinned comment alongside the link to my LD Player link, there'll be a Google Drive link where you can download the application that you can get from this website, so you don't need a VPN at all, you don't need a Google account at all, and still get access to the Southeast Asia version through this really cool emulator, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to playing on an emulator, one of the best parts, at least in regards to LD Play, I'm not quite sure about the other emulators here, is that it does already have the keys mapped out. So in this case, when it comes to using mouse and keyboard, these are already the predetermined buttons. Now, of course, there are ways to change this, but this is what the game is basically wanting you to use when playing with mouse and keyboards. But like always, you can change it to make it so you're more comfortable with the controls if you don't like pressing certain keys. Like, for example, I don't ever see myself pressing Alt and 1, Alt and 2. That sounds like a bit too much effort for my fingers. So if I was using mouse and keyboard, I would probably change these ones. But they also do just give you an outline of what you want to look for. And they're also named too, so you know exactly what each button is doing if you do want to change the key. But if you do want to change the keys for yourself, there will be a setting up here. It might go a bit different depending on the emulator that you are using, but pretty much they're all the same. Every emulator should have a keyboard mapping. And this is where you are going to be able to edit or add any potential input that you might want to do when playing with mouse and keyboard. My personal recommendation, for the record, is to untick show the keyboard prompt in games. That way you don't have a bunch of buttons and text on your screen. Now, if you are someone that is not comfortable using mouse and keyboard, more so like myself, at least in regards to this game, you might prefer a controller. Well, in this case, if you just turn on your controller like we are doing right now, at least for my controller, I am using an Xbox Elite controller. It does automatically detect it. So once you do press the key mapping, there is now a controller option where once more you can then add controller support. Once more, feel free to change the buttons to your preference, but if you want a quick rundown of my layout and how I've been playing the game, this is what I personally have been going with. Actually, to make it easier for ourselves, what we actually can do is go into the training section and then free practice. That way we can get a better look at the controls while no enemy is attacking us. And in a way, this can be a decent opportunity for you to learn the control layout for what you might potentially use. So when it comes to a controller, right now I use left and right on the D-pad to switch into the characters. I have LB and RB to activate their ultimates while also then switching into them. LT is currently the button for me to activate my battlefield skill. I prefer RT when it comes to using the basic attack. Now, for me, these controls are very similar to how I play it on Brave Souls. That's why I personally do use RT. I believe when you do plug in your controller for the first time, it might already have predetermined controls. If it does, you might want to stick with that. Again, personal preference is what I'm personally going with. A, for me, is to flash step. X is to use my first skill. Y is to use the ultimate. And then B is to counter. Now, this button right here is down on the D-pad. This is only really seen in one particular game mode, where you'll then get a co-op skill to do an additional effect, like damage or heal yourself. There's only so many buttons on a controller, so we have to use the D-pad for that. Sometimes I do forget to press it, but you're not always in that game mode, so you don't have to really worry much about this particular section. And then just to make it easy for yourself, definitely add the start button at the top so you can pause the game with your controller manually. And that should pretty much have you covered for the majority of the gameplay. You will, of course, still have to use your mouse when it comes to navigating the game, but this is pretty much how I've been strictly playing the game since the global launch and even in the betas. I don't play on my mobile, I just strictly play on an emulator using my Xbox controller. It's actually been really smooth, and I definitely prefer playing like this with my controller when compared to playing with my phone, for example. Even at the start, you know, it takes a bit getting used to with the controls until muscle memory starts to kick in, where you'll then know exactly what buttons to press without even thinking when it comes to very fast rotations. And we did do a video yesterday going over the best teams you can use and also the rotations, and I pretty much have most of the rotations nailed down in regards to the best slash team and also best thrust team. It's relatively simple, and I definitely do prefer playing like this, for example. Maybe it might get a bit more complicated if any more buttons start getting added onto the screen in the future, but I think we'll manage for the time being, and hopefully by that point, if that ever does happen, we can actually get official support on PC through potentially Steam. I think the developers definitely know that there is a big appeal for this game to be on PC, and there's no reason for them not to port it on PC. I feel like it should have released on PC, but unfortunately it didn't. So hopefully that can be something they add in the future, very similar to what Brave Souls did, and a lot of other games do too. Most games do start off as mobile, and eventually come to PC later, so hopefully Bleach Soul Resident can follow through as well. But either way, lads, that's the video for today, going over how to play Bleach Soul Resident on PC. Not the most ideal situation that we are in, but you can make it work, and it's been pretty smooth thus far. The game personally runs well on my system, and if this can help you out, show support by liking the video. Again, feel free to use any emulator, but I personally recommend LD Player. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care, and peace.